Tanze, bonjour, and good morning, everyone. Thank you. Merci beaucoup for being here today. Miigwech for joining us at the Canada Life Centre. It's so special for us that you're here to bear witness to this very exciting announcement. My name is Chandra Brown Erlinson. I'm the Associate Executive Director here at the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation. I will be your MC for this morning for what will be certainly a memorable and moving day. It is wonderful to be together on this special day. It is our duty and responsibility as a human family to acknowledge that the land and the water that we are gathered on is sacred and it's living. As a proud Red River Métis woman belonging to these lands where the two rivers meet, these ancestral lands that we are on, known as Treaty 1 territory, I acknowledge them as the crossroads of my relatives, the Ojibwe, the Cree, the Oji-Cree, the Dene, the Dakota Nations. And the Red River Valley is also the birthplace of my nation known as the Red River Métis. I acknowledge my Inuit relatives who live in the north and those ancestral lands that they call home. And we are grateful for that water that flows into the city of Winnipeg as it's sourced from Shoal Lake First Nation, our hydroelectricity generated by waterways in the north on Treaty 5 and from the Great Winnipeg River in Treaty 3. We acknowledge that water. It is a source of life, and we are grateful for those who care about and protect it. And now, it is my pleasure to welcome some very special guests. Among them are treasured language and knowledge keepers, respected elders, innovative, caring leaders who serve and care for their communities and their organizations. We are blessed to have their guidance at the NCTR as elders in residence, members of the NCTR Survivors Circle and the Governing Circle, our partners, our collaborators in protecting and securing a future for the NCTR. Today, this morning, in this spectacular room, we have Elder Harry Bone and Elders Philip and Florence Painter. Traveling here, Edna Elias, Dennis Saddleman, and Andrew Carriere. We have University of Manitoba's Vice President Indigenous and member of the NCTR Governing Circle, Angie Bruce, members of the NCTR Survivor Circle, all the survivors who are here with us in spirit, who join us today in person, and those that are online. We also want to acknowledge the very special people at Canada Life and Power Corporation. Paul Mann, President and CEO of Canada Life. Paul Genet, Senior Vice President of Power Corporation of Canada, and members of the Canada Life team and Power Corporation of the Canada teams. We also have the very hard-working Executive Director of the NCTR, Stephanie Scott, with us, and the notable Dr. Michael Benarosh, President and Vice Chancellor of University of Manitoba, and some of his team is here as well. I also welcome guests who are online right now, joining us, tuning in. We appreciate you taking the time in your morning to hear this very special announcement. Today is a very important day for survivors. We are here to honor an incredible gift to the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation. It is personally meaningful to me to be here to take a part in this momentous occasion as we look forward to building a vibrant future for the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation. Beside me here is the Bentwood Box, a commissioned piece in 2009. The Bentwood Box traveled with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission across Turtle Island, Canada, where survivors placed personal items into this box to symbolize their journey and towards healing and their expressions of reconciliation. Today, it is a source of strength and a lasting tribute to survivors. Before asking elders to formally open our proceedings, I want to let you know that there is a quiet room available for anyone who may feel overwhelmed or triggered by these events. You can find it just across from the entrance right over here behind the escalators, and in there are Candace and Cameron, and they are there to support you. I invite Elder Harry Bone and Elder Florence Painter to begin by speaking to the significance of the ceremony that was held yesterday at the NCTR and to prepare us in a good way for today's events.
Miigwech Dinamaganiduk. Welcome to this very important event. We're here to honor the survivors of residential schools, the ones that are gone to the next place, and the ones that are still here today, and also the missing children that still have to be found and wherever they are. But the spirit of our people are still here, so that's why it's very, very important. Some of you have witnessed the pipe ceremony and the water ceremony that was conducted at the National Center yesterday to honor the people, who attended residential schools, gone to the next world, and the ones that are surviving today. But today is an important event for all of us. So Florence, my sister Florence, and I will do the opening invocation just to make sure that we're guided by the spirit of our people. So I want to thank in advance, the drum group that are here to call us to order as when they do that. So with that, then I think it's important that, we honor our traditions. As a witness, the pipe ceremony that yesterday that you witnessed, we acknowledge the Creator for all of us. We acknowledge the land, the air, the water, and all its environmental stuff. And of all the people in the eyes of the Creator, we're all the same. We're all equal. In the four directions, our languages, our teachings, our history, and our way of life. That was the pipe ceremony done yesterday. So, and also the water ceremony that was done yesterday. So I'm going to ask my sister Florence to do the invocation in our language. So, Miigwech.
Miigwech. Roshkobineshi Quendish Nikas Mako, the Nemagan. Kage Midianish Nabeque, Dao. Sema, give me Joshkona Magu. Chip me, Kagis Tagusian, Nongum. Kagis Mukaweg, Katibenjigat. Kabagit Nang Yabimadiswin. I Ingego Gabmi Anishna Bem Kagishi Mini Wan Chibiabachituan. Agishamani do Miigwech me go when Chibimadiswin. Miigwech me go Minong Ma Chip me Wab Mango Ungoem Imabichinago Kagib me we do Kaswat Ke we know. Ima me misa tawe sem upagan age nibe miigwech andamang miigwech bimikitamen agan sondani manga mini nawe sema odije wabanang awegi sima kabi untazagi chibimibita magwenge minogishi win I minodije shawanong gabmi inina Chip me not the mag wing, Imonche, Gawi no magab me abigas wat, O digage, Ningabi onung, Migwim ma, Gawi no, Kagina nagatakiot, Inge, Kandundi on dog yabe, Bagosandan, Jimmy Queen do, Jibigin in do, Ingegawik chinas in do. Miigwech be me kidamin, Imagawi no, Misho miss no commissimagab me abiot, O digage. Kiwedi nong misho misa mi de ima gab mi da sinjigatek ye mino ayain mino da nanchigain mino inge inenda moin iji chakonanan inge nagachi shinam ageje kan sondani mang anishnabe mama nanake ke winge image abegab mi ondini gein Kami wisin iwing ang goyage ni kakima kagip mi nagiska goang chip mi wi komi goang ma mi bindi gang ma mi watch mi kit hagina naka mindem kiswene mindem kakina mi watch.
Meg Witch, Elder Bone and Elder Painter, and the Walking Wolf Singers about to do something here. I'd like to invite Stephanie Scott, the Executive Director of NCTR, to say a few words. And Stephanie, I'm just going to acknowledge that drum in the midst of our event here. Was not in my notes, and I am taught to acknowledge that drum that's in the room. I thank you, each of you, for being here and for the songs that are going to be coming, and I am very grateful that the drum is here to center us and ground us. The welcome song. Miigwech. Thank you. I'd like to invite Executive Director of the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation, Stephanie Scott, up to the podium. Thanks, Steph.
Hello, everyone. Bonjour, good morning. Miskwa Nakwadakwe Indigenakaz, Wabashishito Dem. My name is Stephanie Scott, and my family is from Roseau River Anishinaabe First Nation. I am the daughter of a survivor, and I am a 60 Scoop survivor as well. It is a privilege and an honor to be with you today here in Treaty 1 territory, where I was born and raised and canoed the many lakes. These are the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, the national homeland of the Red River Métis, and home to many Inuit brothers and sisters. I say miigwech to Elders Harry Bone, Elder Florence Painter, and Elder Philip Painter for always taking care of us and providing the words of welcome and prayer this morning. Elder Painter said this morning that she will take care of me, and that's really endearing to the heart because they always do, and I really love that, so miigwech. The elders also provide us a lot of wisdom and guidance, and they share with us every day as our elders and residents. It is a profound honor to serve in a dual role as the Executive Director of the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation, an organization that is very dear to my heart. And I also serve as the Associate Vice President of Indigenous Reconciliation with our host, University of Manitoba, for which I am blessed, and Michael and Anne, always thank you for being here and supporting us as well. The wise leaders of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada knew that the path to reconciliation would not end with the delivery of their final report. They knew, as the late Honorable Murray Sinclair, our friend and mentor, often said, that the work of reconciliation must be the work of generations, and that Indigenous peoples could not and should not carry this burden alone. That's why the survivors and the commissioners created the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation, to carry on the work of truth-telling, to ensure that the voices of survivors are never forgotten or silenced, to educate Canadians from all walks of life, and to build new partnerships and alliances. That is why it is so vital for the NCTR to finally have a permanent home. A home that is more than just a building, a home that is true healing, a true healing lodge that can nurture and sustain our vital work for generations to come. That is what survivors asked us to build. That is why we are so grateful for our friends and allies at Canada Life and Power Corporation. Through the gifts that they are giving us, through these acts of reconciliation, they are doing their part to make the dream of the survivors and the vision of the TRC commissioners to become a reality. And these acts of generosity are doubly appreciated in these uncertain times. We cannot do the work of truth and reconciliation without partners like Canada Life and Power Corporation, standing beside us and supporting us. The relationship and support has not been transactional, and it has been years of working together in collaboration and support as we continue to educate new generations of youth and amplify their vision on how to repair the harms of this country and to work and live together in unity. I would now like to invite representatives of our allies to share a few words. It is my pleasure to introduce Paul Mann, President and CEO of Canada Life, and Paul Genet, Senior Vice President of Power Corporation. Please come to the podium.
Before we begin the remarks and the sharing by our dear partners, we want to do an honor song and invite a very special flag to come in. So if I could ask for the drummers. Thank you. Thank you. So powerful. Thank you for that honor song, and thank you all for standing for that honor song. And I want to just back up a little bit and now introduce the speakers, the next speakers. Stephanie, if you wanted to, please just introduce them once more time. Thank you.
I just wanted to invite Paul Mann to share a few words, and just before he steps in, I would like to let you know a little bit about the National Student Memorial Cloth. Through the work of the TRC and the NCTR, the Memorial Cloth has over 4,000 children who died in residential school, and the NCTR continues that work. And we bring them into the circle at events and gatherings because it's important that people understand that children are still missing today. Raymond Frogner, our head of archives, continues this work. It is profound, it is emotional, it is difficult, because there are still parents in this country that do not know where their children lay buried, where they ended up. Sometimes they were placed in paupers' graves. Sometimes they're put on a train. Sometimes they weren't allowed the ceremony to respectfully carry them home and bring them to their community. And there is verification of this. And I think it's really important that the deniers in this country understand that. Within our archive and our collection, there are letters and records that state exactly how these children passed, where they lay. You see records from parents that are writing to communities, to the churches, and saying, how could you bury my child without ever telling me? And that's the kind of impacts that we are trying to repair and to bring people together. And so for each one of you that carried that cloth today, I really say miigwech, because you're lifting up their spirit and showing that the world cares. And the world does care. It's not only Canada, because we've had international visitors from around the world wondering what happened in this country. So miigwech for your power. Thank you. Paul?
Thank you, Stephanie. It was an honor to carry the cloth with our group of people here from Canada Life today. Good morning, bonjour, hello, and bonjour. And a deep thank you and sense of gratitude to the elders for their prayers and their words of welcome. Today marks an important moment for the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation, for all of us here, and for the work of Truth and Reconciliation in Canada. On behalf of Canada Life and the Power Corporation of Canada, I'm proud to announce that we're making a joint $2 million gift to help build a new permanent home for the National Truth and Reconciliation Centre. This space I know it's about the money, but it's not just about the money, and I want to say a few words about that. This space, located on the grounds of the University of Manitoba, will serve as a national and an international hub for the vital work that the NCTR does. It will allow the organization to expand its reach, deepen its impact, and welcome more people on the ongoing journey of reconciliation. Our country still reckons with the truths of the past. The residential school system caused immeasurable harm to children, families, communities, and generations. The truth cannot and must not be forgotten. The work of reconciliation demands that we face it head-on, with honesty, humility, and an unwavering commitment to learning and change. Since its founding in 2015, the NCTR has helped lead that national conversation. And yet, until now, the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation has operated out of a temporary facility. We are proud that our donation as part of the NCTR's ambitious $100 million capital campaign will help make their permanent home a reality. Construction of the new facility will begin in 2026, with the doors opening in 2029, and we're very excited to see that day. We believe this is a space that Canada has needed for a very long time. At Canada Life, our relationship with the NCTR has been one focused on advancing reconciliation together. Over the years, we've worked together and been supported by the NCTR in many important initiatives, from survivor flag raisings to our Orange Shirt Day. Each of those moments has deepened our understanding and strengthened our commitment to walk this path of reconciliation with care, with intention, and with purpose. And while we're proud of the work we've done so far, we also recognize that it's far from finished. Reconciliation is not a box to be checked or a single act. It's a continuous process, one that calls us to listen more deeply and to act more meaningfully. It also calls us to acknowledge that our institutions, our histories, and even our own organizations have benefited from systems that excluded, erased, and harmed Indigenous peoples. This donation is part of our ongoing commitment to doing better. It's one step among many on a journey that we are committed to taking. And let me be clear, this is not a gift of generosity. This is a gift of responsibility. A recognition that we have a role to play, and that reconciliation is not someone else's job to do. It belongs to all of us, and it requires the engagement of the whole community. As someone born in Manitoba and having lived here and worked here in Winnipeg for almost all of my life, I see the potential for the whole of our community coming together in reconciliation. An example is our Premier's Business and Jobs Council that includes a group that I participate on that brings together business, labor, and government working together to focus on economic reconciliation. Another great example is the Manitoba Business Council's Collaborative Housing Alliance, which is focused on engaging the private sector to lean in and help with addressing homelessness in our city. A startling and staggering and sad fact is that Indigenous peoples represent 14% of our population, but 74% of our homeless. The work we'll do on Indigenous-led projects and projects supporting Indigenous peoples can be another act of economic reconciliation. It will take focus and the whole of the society coming together to engage in this important work of reconciliation, supported by the important work of the NCTR. So to the leadership and staff of the NCTR, thank you for your vision, your tireless advocacy, your courage, and your ability to hold space for both truth and healing is inspiring to all of us. You've helped this country take real steps forward, and we're so honored to walk with you in this next chapter ahead. To the survivors and families whose stories shape this work, we honor you. Your voices are the foundation of the NCTR's mission, and the legacy of your strength and your resilience will live on in this new home for generations to come. And to the Indigenous communities across this land, our hope is that this space becomes a gathering place, a place of ceremony, of learning and of healing. And our promise is to keep listening, keep learning, and keep showing up, not just with words, but with action. Miigwech, merci, nakurmik, and thank you for allowing us to be part of this journey. We look forward to seeing this incredible space come to life. And I'll now ask Paul Genet to say a few words.
Paul, thank you for those sensitive and wise words, and also for your amazing and generous leadership of Canada Life and also in this community. It's a real honor for me to be standing next to you today, with you today, for this important announcement. Bonjour à tous et à toutes. Un grand merci d'être venu. Good morning, and thank you all for your presence on this important occasion. Bonjour, Tanse. It's my privilege at Power Corporation to be kind of the steward of philanthropy and also public policy and government relations. And to be able to participate in an announcement like this is really one of the gifts of this role. But you don't get to do it without the support of a lot of other folks. And I do want to celebrate the great partnership between Canada Life and Power Corporation and IGM as well, which is also headquartered here, and make special notice of Stephanie Halligan and my colleague Julie Ledoux, who have worked so hard to make this announcement come together with the NCTR today. So thank you, colleagues, for the great work that you do on that front. I also want to especially acknowledge and thank the elders and survivors and family members who are attending this event, who've shared so openly about the terrible generational and personal impact of the residential schools in Canada. Your presence is deeply validating for this gathering. It was very powerful to be present with many of you yesterday at the ceremony at the NCTR, where we had gathered in solidarity and peace with Inuk and First Nations elders and Métis for one purpose: to underscore the need for truth and reconciliation and the importance of continuing to walk that road together in your current home, yes, but in the new home which is on the horizon. Yes, a place to properly store and research archives, but also a healing center. It's a profound historic responsibility that rests on all our shoulders to carry on this work to educate Canadians today and into the future. Yesterday, we took part in a smudging ceremony, passing the tobacco pipe, songs, prayers, sharing food and drink together. It was extremely meaningful. Thank you for honoring Stephanie, my friend and colleague Paul Mann, and myself with the privilege of speaking to you holding the Eagle fan, which I understand is meant to help us speak with humility, sincerity, respect, power, in a good way, the power of an eagle, and to provide a connection to the spiritual world. I found that all very moving, sorry, and enhanced today by carrying the memorial cloth and our drummers and singer friends here who launched us so well. So it's a great honor for me to be here with you today to be announcing with Paul on behalf of Power Corporation of Canada this $2 million gift. And I make this announcement, I've mentioned colleagues, and certainly on behalf of Power Corporation, and I want to mention my colleagues, our CEO, Mr. Jeffrey Orr, our chairman, Paul Desmarais, and deputy chairman, Andre Desmarais, who are so supportive of the work we do to foster and further reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. If you don't mind, I also would like to mention that this year, 2025, is Power Corporation's 100th anniversary. So it's really wonderful to be able to make this announcement on the anniversary of our 100th year of founding. As Paul mentioned, this is a gift of responsibility. We feel in the giving a profound duty and are grateful for the opportunity to provide it. I also want to specifically thank again our host from today and yesterday, Stephanie Scott, the Executive Director of the Center. Stephanie, thank you again for the trust and the kind words about the relationship. I find it behind me between us, ourselves at Power Corporation and Canada Life. Thank you for bringing this mission of building a new home to our attention and making the case so compellingly. And thank you personally for helping me with my education process in the TRC. A number of years ago, Stephanie approached Power Corporation and IGM, our other proud affiliate company headquartered here in Winnipeg, about an innovative project that she and her team had in view. This was following the discovery of the children's graves in Kelowna. They wanted to launch a program called Imagine a Canada, wherein school children across the country would be educated on the themes of the TRC and invited to express in a work of art or an essay what was the meaning to them of reconciliation. So it's here, yes, in Winnipeg, the work that's going to happen, but it is across the country that is their reach, and that's the reach for the future. This program continues strongly, and I'm pleased to note that we and IGM last year renewed our partnership with the Center for another 3 years. Stephanie, I want to acknowledge your courage, your dedication, and your resilience in committing to do this work. Day after day, month after month, I know it isn't easy work, and you're to be so strongly commended for being there. Now, Power, of course, Corporation is, of course, headquartered in Montreal, but let me stress how extremely important Winnipeg and Manitoba are to us. For Canada Life and IGM are by far our most important affiliated companies, and they're headquartered in this community. We're deeply proud to be affiliated with this city, this province, and our colleagues here who are such great community and corporate leaders. It's a point of pride that the future home of the NCTR will be on the campus of University of Manitoba. And thank you, Michael Benarosh and Anne Mann, for being here today. It's truly the center of the North American continent. As noted, many archives need to be studied and evaluated. And this is effectively, of course, the largest oral history project in Canadian history. If you'll allow, I spent a lot of my life in politics and government, and I can't resist making at least a brief comment on the geopolitics of this moment. Canadians have been understandably taken aback by the hostile and often chaotic actions emanating from our great neighbor to the south. You don't expect this from your friends and longtime allies. For sure, we have our faults. We have made our share of big mistakes, but generally, we're a kind, friendly, tolerant, inclusive nation. So there is no good reason for it, and many Americans are now speaking out to say exactly that, but we need to rely on ourselves here. It's one of the greatest challenges of our history. What I take deep comfort in is the way Canadians are rallying, coming together, showing solidarity, showing pride in our independence, our culture, our commitments, and in being Canadian. I think we also sense a fierce determination and focus on addressing our own problems and issues to become more self-reliant and resilient. And I think as well, we witness a real determination to stick to our values. And the fundamental value which has been acknowledged today is the importance of keeping to this path of truth and reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. In all this turmoil and affirmation of our independence, there's also, I think, a determination to grasp new opportunities. And in fact, one of those major new opportunities is economic reconciliation, which is the action that I think needs to follow up to show the sincerity of our commitment to share in prosperity moving forward as we contemplate big and ambitious projects. We will walk this path of truth, reconciliation, respect, and friendship. Occasionally, yes, if it's required, those who want to push us off it with an elbow up. But I would, if I may also say, TRC didn't happen as a gift. It happened when Indigenous peoples actually put some elbows up. So I think we all know what that is about. But mostly this is about solidarity, holding hands, walking the path, and achieving great things together. Thank you again so much. Un grand merci, Miigwech.
I have to put some eyeballs on because I can't see as I age. Thank you so much for those words and comments and the opportunity to come together. And it's a beautiful day. And I don't do this work alone. We have about 60, 70 people, Indigenous, non-Indigenous, intergenerational, survivors, our governing circle, our survivors circle, and our host, University of Manitoba. And I really would like to thank them because each and every day they make my life easy and really champion all the children and survivors in this country and land. So thank you. And I say thank you in Miigwech. And every Indigenous nation and community is diverse and unique. We share many fundamental teachings. One of those core teachings is about the importance of reciprocity. When we receive a gift, whether from friends or family, from new allies or from Mother Earth herself, we give a gift in return. Sometimes it is a tobacco offering, sometimes we break bread, and sometimes we share the gift of time and take the time to really care for one another. And this is how we show respect and how we acknowledge the relationships that can connect us. Today, it is my honor to give a very special gift to each one of our donors. When the NCTR was created, we were given the spirit name Beijig Miigwech, which in Anishinaabe means one feather. The sacred name is meant to always remind us that every survivor is precious. Just like a single eagle feather, every single survivor deserves the utmost care and respect. That's why it is so uplifting for us, all of us, that we have this opportunity to gift each one of you with sculptures, which we'll show to you shortly, which depict a single eagle feather. These bronze sculptures are the work of an extraordinary First Nations artist, Wayne Stranger. And Wayne, if you don't mind standing for a second, I'd just like to acknowledge your gift that you're going to share with us. You'll see how beautiful they are in a moment, and we asked Wayne a very, very quick ask, so thank you for getting those to us. His foundry is at the Peguis First Nation, and it is the only fine art bronze casting foundry in Manitoba. Again, we say thank you, and miigwech for your generosity and care, and if I can ask the two Pauls to come up and the survivors, governing circle members in the room, that would be wonderful, and Michael and Anne, if you join us. We're good? All right. So on behalf of the NCTR and the Survivors and Governing Circle and the University of Manitoba, we offer you these wonderful feathers.
Ooh, miigwech. Walking Wolf Singers, everybody, I think this is a perfect time to say thank you. Miigwech, Coco, all of you drummers, for bringing that drum, singing those songs, sharing your gifts, and helping us with today's event in honoring all that is being revealed today about the future. When the NCTR was first established, survivors had a vision to create a place where the truths of their experiences would be honored and preserved for future generations. We are fortunate to have survivors with us to share what this gift means to them. I'd like to invite Edna, Dennis, Andrew to please join me up here to share some of your thoughts about this generous gift. Miigwech.
Looks different from here. I'm glad you're in our presence. I'm glad to be in yours. Thank you. Ikivallauyunga, inuktut ataga ikivallak, adartiangma atakimayanga. I'm Ikivallak by my Inuit culture, a name that was given to me by my late grandfather, who I was very, very close to. Edna Elias comes from Nunavut, originally, currently residing in Edmonton. Ilitagayumayat kahap ko hivud livud inutokait, kayumayat kaming nigpihimayit, ayaw pagtiduvap tingning, hivud liok tivud ublume, tamaitalo, annaw mabakimayud, iliniak titaw ng mingnit, tap ko unipkangit. Itskomayut in mingnut, unip atok pagait, Nereugiailo, hivunikaptingni, pijutigi vaktavun. I'll begin by acknowledging the elders and knowledge keepers who guide us, the leaders joining us today, and all the survivors whose truths, experiences, and hopes for the future we honor. Kitamayugut kingwarek kitungaptingne iliniartitaw vakimayugut atadatiaga atataga uvanga malroglunutakakka. 4 generations in my family went to residential school. My grandfather, my father, myself, and my 2 children. And each of those experiences were vastly different from the other. Our stories, I'm sure, were very, very different. I never heard many of them from especially Grandpa and my dad. Hapkua ilin niak titaw vit, ili harvit. Ako khutik, ili toriyavut, ili himayavut. Akhang niga horitut, okaw hitingning. Tigu hiumayut, igit lugit, okaw hivut. Kinaunivut, and uvagut, inunakut. Ikinaktit tumablugo. Residential schools attempted to take away our languages, our identities, and our very selves. Huli, amanit pugun. Amanit punga. Sangiyu bluta, haku ikuta inuyugut. Hivnu kakheokuta, hivnu kakheokatigiblugit, nunakativut. Iumagiblugit, pitutigiblugit, kinguvakavun. Yet we are still here. I am still here, a strong peoples who are building futures alongside our communities for our future generations. That's why NCTR's building is so important. A sacred space where we can share the truths and experiences with our generations. Ilinniarvihkaq, ilihaivikkaq, kanatamiunut, taapkunungalo, hilariuamit pulaartarniartut, nunaptingnun. Ilittoriaamingnik, inmingnik, kangarrialerlutiglo, kinguniptingning. Itquhernik atlortauvaktunik Kanadame. A teaching place where Canadians and visitors to this land can learn and hopefully come to understand our true history, the legacy. Achon ang uvaptingnut annau mahimayunun, nalagtaw yu mayugut, tuhayaw yu mayugut, atokpagtavut, atoruminain mata, atokpagtavullo, atulaglugit, ulitutaw ni aktulun, tunga viulutik. Canada limame, ihumagiyaw yune, ihumaptingne, inang ni akong. Itkauma vaglutalo, itkauma vaglugit lutapkuat, nipekaraung nertun, tuhaktauli mertun, unipkali mertut, atokpakimayamingning. It is critical for survivors, such as ourselves, to be listened to, for their experiences to be incorporated into the nation's collective conscience, to remember those who are not able to voice their truths, who are unable to tell their stories, who were never given the opportunity, who were never returned home, who were never found. Taima toak, piho katigigluta, kihime, apkutaoyong. Even if kamut, tikiutiniarupta, pekatigilerluta, hanerigluta, kinguvaung itumik, hivuliortiung itumik, piho katigigluta kihime. Reconciliation kanome, ilani inuin naktut ayong nangmat kanoktayangane. It is only in doing that we can continue to walk the path. Not one in front of the other or one behind the other, one not this way and one this way, but together, walking the path. Before I close, I want to say that for years I struggled with the concept of survivor residential school, because I always thought it was my grandfather and my father who were the true survivors. And I did a lot of soul searching. And when I got on as the survivor circle, it really opened my thinking and came to realize and accept, yes, I guess I am a survivor. I've been really emotional the last few days, and that flag really hit home. There would have been so many survivors. You saw all those names on that flag. It just really puts it in perspective, what it means to be a survivor. So thank you very much. Canada Life Kunnun, Power Corporation Kunnun. So thank you to Canada Life and Power Corporation, for we will be walking the path towards reconciliation with us. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dennis Saddleman. I'm from Merritt, BC, about an hour south of Kamloops. I just want to share a little story there because it's connected to the poem I'm about to read, the monster poem. You know, I was outside playing outside the house. I just turned 6 years old, and I was playing with my dog. Then I heard my mom call me, "Dennis, come in the house." So I entered the kitchen. I noticed on the floor there, in those days there, we had a metal tub. So it had some warm water in there for a bath. My mom was going to give me a bath. So she washed my hair and washed my back, and she told me that I was going to go away. Go far away to a school. When she mentioned school there, I was all excited there because that's where my sisters were. So I'm going to be joining them there at the school. So after the bath there, I had a hard time saying goodbye to my grandpa and my dog, Blackie. So we got into this old green pickup truck. My dad was driving, my mom sitting on the passenger side, tears in her eyes. And we drove about an hour there, then we got to Kamloops. It was so odd because I never traveled before there. I saw Kamloops there with these huge buildings, lots of cars, lots of people. It was just so awesome. They're going traveling there. And then we crossed the Red Bridge there over the Thompson River. And I peeked over the dashboard there and I could see the buildings in the distance there were small. And we're going towards the buildings there, and the buildings got bigger and bigger and bigger. And soon before I knew it, we arrived at the residential school. Arrived in front of this huge red brick building, 4 stories high. Looked scary. Lots of windows, window eyes, red brick flesh. Right in the middle of the building there was 2 red doors. Next thing I knew, the red doors opened and these black creatures came out. They came over and they talked to my mom and dad. Next thing I knew, we were on the cement steps. I turned around, I looked, my mom and dad walking away without looking back, without saying goodbye. I wanted to go after them there, but one of those black creatures grabbed me and held me back. I found out later the black creatures were the nuns and priests of the residential school. The school was a Catholic school. I tried to go after my mom and dad there, and they dragged me through the doors. As soon as I entered the doors, it felt like that huge building, that huge monster, it ate me up. So here's the poem. Monster, a residential school experience. I hate you, residential school, I hate you. You're a monster, a huge, hungry monster built with steel bones, built with cement flesh. You're a monster built to devour innocent native children. You're a cold-hearted monster, cold as the cement floors. You have no love, no gentle atmosphere. Your ugly face grooved with red bricks. Your monster eyes glare from grimy windows, monster eyes so evil, monster eyes watch and terrified children cower with shame. I hate you, residential school, I hate you. You're a slimy monster, oozing in the shadows of my past. Go away, leave me alone, you're following me wherever I go. You're in my dreams, in my memories. Go away, monster, go away. I hate you, you're following me. I hate you, residential school, I hate you. You're a monster with huge, watery mouth of double doors. Your white mouth took me. Your yellow-stained teeth chewed the Indian out of me. Your teeth crunched my language, grinded my rituals and my traditions. Your taste buds became bitter when you tasted my red skin. You swallowed me with disgust. Your face wrinkled when you tasted my strong pride. I hate your residence school, I hate you. You're a monster. Your throat muscles forced me down to your stomach. Your throat muscles squeezed my happiness, squeezed my dreams, squeezed my native voice. Your throat became clogged with my sacred spirit. You coughed and you choked, for you cannot withstand my spiritual songs and dances. I hate your residence school, I hate you. You're a monster. Your stomach upset every time I wet my bed. Your stomach rumbled with anger every time I fell asleep in church. Your stomach growled at me every time I broke the school rules. Your stomach was full, and you burped, and you felt satisfied, and you rubbed your belly, and you didn't care. You didn't care how you ate up my native culture. You didn't care if you're Missy, if you're Piggy. You didn't care as long as you ate up my Indianness. I hate your residential school. I hate you. You're a monster. Your veins clotted with cruelty and torture. Your blood poisoned with loneliness and despair. Your heart, it was cold. It pumped fear into me. I hate your residential school. I hate you. You're a monster. Your intestines churned me into foul entrails. Your annals squeezed me, squeezed my confidence, squeezed my self-respect. Your annals squeezed, then you dumped me without parental skills, without life skills, dumped me without any form of character, without individual talents, without a hope for success. I hate your residential school. I hate you. You're a monster. You dumped me in the toilet, then you flushed out my good nature, my personalities. I hate your residential school. I hate you. You're a monster. I hate you. 33 years later, I rode my Chevy pony to Kamloops. From the highway, I saw the monster. My God, the monster's still alive. I hesitated and I wanted to drive on, but something told me to stop. I parked in front of the residential school, in front of the monster. The monster saw me and it stared at me. The monster saw me and I stared back. We both never said anything for a long, long time. Finally, with a lump in my throat, I said, "Monster, I forgive you." The monster broke into tears. The monster cried and cried. His huge shoulders shook. He motioned for me to come forward. He asked me to sit on his lappy stairs. The monster spoke. "You know, I didn't like my government father. I didn't like my Catholic Church mother. I'm glad the native people adopted me. They took me as one of their own. They fixed me up, repaired my mouth of double doors. They washed my window eyes with cedar and fir boughs. They cleansed me with sage and sweetgrass. Now my good spirit lives. The native people let me stay on their land. They could have burnt me, you know, but instead they let me live so the people could come here to school, restore and learn about their culture." The monster said, "I'm glad the native people gave me another chance. I'm glad, Dennis, you gave me another chance." The monster smiled. I stood up. I told the monster I must go. Ahead of me is my life. My people are waiting for me. I was at the door of my Chevy pony, and the monster spoke. "Hey, you forgot something." I turned around and I saw a ghost child running down the cement steps. It ran towards me and it entered my body. I looked over to the monster and I was surprised. I wasn't looking at the monster anymore. I was looking at an old school. In my heart, I thought, this is where I earned my diploma of survival. I was looking at an old school who became my elder of my memories. I was looking at a tall building with 4 stories, stories of hope, stories of dreams, stories of renewal, and stories of tomorrow. After I went home after the residence school, I went home and I did a lot of drinking, lots of drugs and suicides and sleeping in the back alleys and drinking Lysol and eating my food from the dumpsters and I can remember the suicide attempts there. I stabbed myself in the ribs once and I held the gun under my throat. I remember all the things happened there, you know, when this nun there told me I was no good and no good for nothing, that I was ugly and all that stayed in my head there. And I held that gun there, then I could picture the residence school and my sexual abuser both standing there, and he said, go ahead, pull the trigger, we don't care. Go ahead and die. But that got me angry. I said, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction that I pulled the trigger. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction that I died. So that stayed in my mind for a couple more years, and I finally decided to sober up and go on the healing journey. Next month it'll be 45 years that I've been sober and drug-free. So I go all over the place. I get invited to read my poetry, share my stories, and I've been to Edmonton, here in Winnipeg, Toronto, Ottawa, Hawaii. So my purpose is to educate the non-natives and the young people. I earned the name Word Warrior because I think about the survivors who didn't make it home and survivors who will not share their stories. So I believe I'm their voice. I share their stories through my experience. Also, Mother Earth, I'm her voice. I'm her warrior. So I've been very honored to be invited here today, and thank you for listening. And it's a very honorable and honorable day for me, and honorable day for all the survivors. And I think about my family back at home, my family and friends. I know they're here with me in spirit there, and I know they're all proud. And I know my mom and dad in the spirit world, they're proud of me too. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Powerful words. It's nice to hear Dennis speak of the monster because they're in us. As I stand here before you, I need to breathe and relax. First of all, I'd like to thank those powerful words from Dennis, and thank you very much for sharing. And as custom in our community, we want to thank Elder Bowen and Elder Painter for the beautiful prayers. And thank you for the spiritual and the Walking Wolf singers and drum group for the inspirational and traditional songs. Very powerful. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Carrier, and I'm a long-term member of the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation Governing Circle. I am the Vice President for the Winnipeg region, as well as the Minister responsible for residential and day school survivors for the national government of the Red River Métis, the Manitoba Métis Federation, as well as a proud Red River Métis. My apologies. Listening to Dennis Surley triggered memories. So it's very challenging not to revert to when I was 7 years old. But I stand with my matriarchs, my mothers and grandmothers. I am truly honored to be here today, and I would like to acknowledge the survivors and elders who have joined this gathering. Je suis très fier d'être de la Rivière-Rouge. Je suis honoré d'être ici. Aujourd'hui, je tiens à rendre hommage aux survivants et aux aînés qui sont joints à ce rassemblement. Grâce à l'ouvrier que je parle français, je fais mon mieux, mais j'ai perdu ma langue métisse ou métif. Alors, je suis très fier d'être ici. As you see, I wear my Métis culture, my jacket, and my beaded work. We, the Métis, took the best of our cultures and made it our own language. I'm wearing today the Every Red River Métis Child Matters sash, representing the Red River Métis children that was swept alongside our relatives, our First Nation relatives, into residential schools as well as day schools. What happened in residential schools continue to perpetuate in the Catholic and Protestant schools in the cities and villages across Manitoba. So alongside our First Nations and Inuit relatives, I stand before you. Comme vous pouvez voir, je porte la ceinture fléchée que chaque enfant métis de la Rivière-Rouge compte. Every child matters. Un hommage à nos enfants métis de la Rivière-Rouge qui ont été envoyés dans les pensionnats aux côtés de nos proches et Premières Nations, nos cousins, nos cousines, et nos Inuits. This sash that I'm wearing, I just want to share it very briefly, has the colors, Every Child Matters color, the orange color, to represent and to connect with our First Nation relatives and our Inuit relatives. The orange sweater story has touched the lives of many of us to symbolize the resiliency and survival of our people. Cette ceinture fléchée représente à la fois les pertes, la mort, la résilience vécue des enfants métis des pensionnats. I wear it as a survivor and give hope to bring home the lost spirit of our children. I wear it so you can see a tangible symbol of what I and many others have endured. It is a reminder rather, of a time, but also a reminder of strength. The strength of all residential and school survivors. As we heard earlier today, a lot of our children didn't come home. We heard a story where older children were forced to bury the young ones. I encourage all of us to take this time to reflect on the truth that thousands of survivors lived throughout their years and scars of abuse and the impacts that is still felt today. I want to honor the truth held by the thousands of children who never returned home. We saw the list of 4,000 names a little while ago, but that number grows daily. There are unmarked graves here in St. Boniface, in St. Norbert, St. Laurent, where a lot of the schools, residential as well as day schools, discarded the bodies of children that they starved and neglected. Let us never forget about the little ones who would cry themselves asleep away from the loves of their parents. I'm proud to be gathering here today. Thank you very much, Canada Life. Great partners, by the way, with the Manitoba Media Federation and many other Canadians, so thank you for that. And the generous contributions to the NCTR building. I heard you say it is not a gift or a donation, but a responsibility, and thank you for sharing that. This building will be a beacon of hope, a place to gather, a place to learn, and more importantly, a place where the oral histories and statements of survivors will be kept safe for future generations. So again, thank you, Canada Life, for all of you who joined us here today. My emotions that have, but thank you for the Power Corporation for joining and for your contributions. And I spoke with Paul a little earlier and found out that there was a family called the Demeta family out in Montreal that started this all. And this is where kinship happens, where there's a connection with families across Canada. There's a lot of people might not realize what kinship is, but here in Manitoba and the prairies, in order to survive, we treated everybody like family. I mean, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way, but we treat everybody like family. We invited you in, we shared whatever we had. So in that spirit, thank you for sharing. Merci. Miigwech. Please accept my apologies for my crying.
Thank you to all the survivors who shared and moved us and gave, again, some of their story in this space. Bringing that to the surface takes a lot of courage, takes love, and we can see the difficulty in that. It's difficult to receive it. It's more difficult, I imagine, to speak it. So make witch to each of you for coming up so bravely and sharing. And I believe those tears help us heal. So make witch, Andrew. Whew. I hope everybody is doing okay. I'd like to now call upon Dr. Michael Benaroche, President and Vice Chancellor at the University of Manitoba, to provide some final thoughts. And I will respectfully also acknowledge, somebody very kind whispered in my ear earlier to mention that dear Ann Mann is here today, the Chancellor of the University of Manitoba, and it is wonderful to have you here today with us. So if Dr. Michael Benaroche could please join us, it'd be great. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chandra, for the introduction. It's a real honor to be here to speak today along so many distinguished guests. I wanted to thank Elder Harry and Elder Florence for bringing us and starting us in a good way, and to the survivors, Edna, Dennis, and Andrew, for your words of wisdom and guidance for us. It is important for us to hear this. So each time I hear your stories, my resolve becomes strengthened. And as I was sitting there today, I was thinking about the work that still needs to be done and the strength that we need to have to do that work. For the University of Manitoba, the work with the NCTR has been a transformative partner for our institution. It's been teaching our university and Canadians what our individual spheres of influence can be and the role that we can play in truth and reconciliation and how we can do better. Their work has benefited our province, our nation, and our communities around the globe. And I'm grateful for the teachings of the NCTR, and many Indigenous leaders have shared with me and the university. And I feel blessed and honored that I've had that opportunity in my position. These teachings have exposed the dark, long overlooked and ignored corners of our history, and it helped us see the truth of our past. And once shown the truth, I believe that one is compelled to be an agent for positive change, to follow the teachings and to go in the right path. I think as we heard the poem, and we hear how that poem ends, we can't but be inspired about the path forward and the opportunities that lay ahead of us. I think this is our moral imperative. So it's our university's great honor to partner with the NCTR to help them build their permanent home that will ensure it can continue to fulfill its mission and mandate for generations to come. This home will reflect the vision of survivors from across this country, and it's our university's great honor to have the trust and responsibility to helping bring this to life. To do so, we need partners. And I know Stephanie's been crossing the country trying to raise funds for this center. And I think you've heard me say before, and I was really proud to hear from the leadership of Canada Life and Power Corp that this is a responsibility. This is a responsibility that we have. And so, we have called on leaders in our country. We've called on other provinces to help build this home. And I think it's critical that we see the leadership and the strength of Power Corp and Canada Life standing up and saying this is a project that they feel is their responsibility to be a part of. And I think it sends a strong message across Canada, and I think it sends a strong message across the world of the importance of the work that is being done. And I believe that your gift today is a significant contribution, and it's going to be build the momentum that we need to complete the work. And I know that the NCTR and the leadership have worked very hard, the Survivor Circle, to build this home. And so it's an honor to be here today celebrating this historic step. And I look forward to celebrating more milestones. I'm looking forward to being there when the building begins and hopefully when the building ends, and is ready to bring us in. And you should know that right now the NCTR is in a building that I think should hold about a quarter of the amount of work and people that they have. They make it work. And so I think it'll be a really important milestone for our country and for the NCTR and for survivors to complete this work. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you to everyone here for taking part in today, to our generous host, Canada Life, and to all of those whose work made today's event possible. I think we did a great job. Thank you to those that were organizing and putting this all together. Sincerely, this is my first speaking engagement in my new role at the NCTR, so I am so honored to be a part of this team, and I am just thoroughly thrilled to be moving forward together with this team. I would now like to call upon the Walking Wolf Singers to conclude our program today with a closing song, after which we would invite everybody to stay and join us for some refreshments that will be out there in the lobby. Thank you, Miigwech. Have a blessed day. Be peaceful.